YouTube, Facebook, you name it, but everybody had to start somewhere. So give us a little bit about how you got started.
Well, I started in real estate in 2006. I actually started in new home sales for the first 8 years of my career. I sold new builds with a local builder. During the last recession, I was one of the top new home sales consultants in the country. And for anybody that's ever been, in that traditional office corporate world or new home sales, that there's long hours, you have no flexibility, you're stuck in your sales office. And in new home sales, you're stuck there weekends, long nights, all the things. So I took the plunge and left new home sales in 2014 to start a resale career. And I really started from the bottom, even though I had sold and closed hundreds of homes. Even my own family members didn't really even think of me as a real estate agent. So I had to start from scratch. And I really went on a journey to incorporate a lot of video into my business, which has been so amazing. And taking my Instagram and making that more of like a TV show versus a nonstop commercial, letting people in on my family life and all the things. So now I don't cold call, I don't have to door knock, I don't have to leads. I just stay consistent with my content, and buyers and sellers are calling me. Multi-million dollar sellers are calling me and saying things like, "Hey, I'm on your YouTube channel right now. I just watched a bunch of your videos. Will you list my $2 million home?" And really anybody this.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So back in 2006, 2007, obviously the marketing landscape was so different. Facebook was just getting started. Instagram didn't even exist yet. What kind of gut instinct did you have to stick with video, to experiment on social media, and kind of what told you to keep going with that media?
So that's a great question. While I was selling new homes for 8 years, from 2006, 2014 timeframe, I could only sell new homes for the builder. So I would watch of agents come in for clients, and those clients would want to buy one of my new builds, but they had a home to sell. And I saw this trend, which I still see it today. And it just like, I just don't understand it. It's not normal for real estate to be marketed. It's basically like put a sign in the yard, take some pictures, put it on the MLS, and expect the buyer will find it. So I watched that happen over again, and these clients' homes weren't selling. I'm like, man, why aren't you guys marketing the home? There's so many different ways you could do that. So I really have a love and passion for marketing. So I went on this journey and I found a few role models around the country. There were not many realtors that were getting in front of the camera for their listing videos. So I just started standing in front of the camera. It wasn't comfortable at first, but I started a thing called Home of the Day. I said, welcome to the Home of the Day. Here's the home we're featuring. I was on every one of my videos, and I would post that, on YouTube and Facebook, and run some ads with the videos. And then, over the years, I started to get recognized in public. People are like, I love your videos. Will you list our house? And it's really developing that brand of know, like, and trust. And right now, the market has shifted. So I think agents need to be investing more into learning how to market the listings and get it in front of the right buyers.
Yeah. So how important is the consistency, and especially in a shifting market, now that people might have a little bit more time on their hands than they did in the past 2 years, to invest that time into video and pushing yourself a little outside your comfort zone?
Well, it's so important. And I hear all the excuses. And trust me, I have the excuses too. Some people will say, well, video doesn't work for me. I tried a few videos and I didn't get any calls from them, or I'm not comfortable in front of the camera, all of that. I mean, I just read, I don't know how true this statistic is, but that possibly 40% of the real estate community will be leaving the industry by the end of next year because of this market shift. So the past 2 years was, it was very easy to maybe cut corners and maybe lazy and not work as hard, but it's really back to the basics. I think the agent and the team and the lender with the best personal brand is going to win a lot of business, and all of the very strong agents that are leaning into all of the trends of video, social, they're going to be the ones that survive, right? Because clients are expecting that. The millennials are the largest buyer pool right now. They're on YouTube, they're on social, but really all ages are on YouTube. And people are going to YouTube to search things like realtors in my area, best real estate agent in your city, pros and cons of living in this city, best neighborhood, all of that stuff. Want to be there when they're searching those things.
It's the second largest search engine is YouTube.
Yes. Yeah.
So
And really, I mean, kind of going back to anyone that's listening that wants to really grow their YouTube presence. My YouTube used to be only listing videos. And I think if you go to a lot of real estate agents, YouTube, it is a lot of listing videos. But this past year, YouTube became our number one lead source. We'll close over $60 million from YouTube leads this year,
wow.
which is just incredible. And what happened is I decided, hey, I'm going to start incorporating more things with my family, just like I do on Instagram, where, my kids, I'm a mom with 3 kids. My kids are taking the camera guy to their favorite trampoline park and their favorite pumpkin patch. So then other moms with kids or people looking to relocate to the area, they can see the lifestyle, not just the home. Also just a lot of videos with like local restaurants and hotspots and interviewing the mayor. And also we've been doing a lot of studio videos where I'm answering questions using a teleprompter. So my YouTube channel has a lot of different types of videos to where people are finding them by searching things. Because before you post something on YouTube, you have to ask yourself, like, is somebody going to search this? The first video you can do if you're trying to start your YouTube channel is pros and cons of living in your city, because people really love to watch those types of videos.
Yeah, and it's true. And if somebody really is thinking of relocating there, like they want to know the best parts and the worst parts, and every city has them. So, that there's always a video there, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So it seems like, the trajectory of your career has always been doing things a little bit differently and not kind of trying to emulate what other people are doing. Which, you're early to video, but are also early to the tech, and you have an app with us, which is awesome. And it's been great working with you on your app. What did you first think of HomeStack when you found us and realized you could create your own white label app for Gillette Group and for your team? And fill us in a little bit about how that kind of went down.
Yeah, so that's a great question. And I think it kind of goes back to asking real estate agents, what do you find when you Google yourself? Right now, your clients are Googling you. And if you don't believe that, they may not be calling because they're not liking what they find on Google. So you should have all of the different platforms covered, from your website looking great, for your YouTube, your Instagram, all of that. People are researching you before they call. Now more than ever, buyers and sellers truly care who their agent is. Sellers are terrified. This market's shifting. In Phoenix, our market is shifting more than others. Our sellers are losing sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars just by month because prices are going down. So you want to look professional. You want to be different. So we love our app. It just is one more thing that we can offer that competitors don't. And we really want our clients to be going to our app to search, and not Zillow and not realtor.com, because we all as agents get those screenshots from our clients that just say it's a screenshot of a Zillow house, hey, can we go see this? How often are we potentially losing clients that may click to go get a showing from that agent that's advertising on Zillow? And I tell our clients that Zillow and all these big searching sites, they're in the business of selling a product, and it's not homes. It's them. It's their information. Your information is not private on there. They're selling your information to realtors and lenders. So when we tell our clients that, they're like, wow, you guys are really looking out for us. We want to use your app. And I've had, clients, I've asked them, be very honest with me. You love looking at homes. You use all the apps. Which one is your favorite? And they say, we love your app. It has better search features. It's our go-to app. And I'm just a huge fan of that because it does help us sell more homes. It's a really great call to action without selling salesy. If we're at an open house, we can be like, download our app. You don't even have to use us as your agent, but use our app. And we actually had one of our agents was sitting in the doctor's office waiting room, and she was talking to this lady, and she's like, yeah, I'm looking for a home, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, she didn't want to be salesy. Hey, what's your number? She said, hey, use our app. It has really great features. Just use it for your search. So months go by. All of a sudden, she gets a showing request on the app. And it's this random lady she met in the doctor's office that wants to buy a $700,000 home. So it's because we invested in the technology and the tools that make us different. We're able to increase our home sales from that.
Yeah. It's a good icebreaker. It's a good segue for somebody who might not be ready to just give you that personal private information. So
Yeah, and also I am, because I built this, I lead one of the top 15 teams in my market. I built it off of top of mind, know, like, and trust, Instagram, YouTube. I want people to, if they're asked, who do you think of when you think of Queen Creek Realtor? I want people to say Shannon Gillette and the Gillette Group, because we see them everywhere. They're always, being reminded of us, because no matter how busy I am throughout the day, I'm always updating my Instagram story. I'm being consistent with content, getting in front of the camera, even on the days I want to film, which is most days. And so what you're doing is you're almost brainwashing these potential clients to think of you, and you're almost reprogramming their brain to think like, man, you are the only choice. Where I've literally had people call me where their mom is a realtor, but they see me everywhere and they're like, hey, my mom's an agent, but will you be our agent? So
wow.
when you have that app, our clients, when they open up their phone, which how many times do you open up your phone a day? They see our logo and our app, and it reminds them Gillette Group is our real estate team. Click on it to look at homes. And within the app, you can do so many different push button notifications, see what your clients are searching. We just don't want our clients on these other platforms, and all agents should feel the same about that.
Yeah, that's so important. That's so important. And you are synonymous with the area. Like everybody knows you, everybody knows you're the agent of the area, even beating out moms. I love that. So as a team leader, also, each one of your agents gets their own version of the app. So how has that helped them to kind of take ownership over their part of the business as well?
That's a great question. So I was a solo agent up until about 2020. That's when I brought my first agent on. Before then, I did have a TC and a videographer, but it was just like kind of me doing all the homes, taking all the clients. And it took me a while to want to grow. And it took me a long time to trust somebody with my clients and my brand that I worked so hard to build.
A Gillette Group home.
When I started to grow a team, I told myself I only want a team if I can provide them the absolute best value. I want to provide them with more than any other team can, because I really care about my team and people, and not so much the money aspect of things. I really want them to be able to have the tools to grow their business and sell more homes. So I'm willing to invest in certain things that other teams probably aren't doing. And within the app, it's so cool. And I really want, even though we have our Gillette Group brand, I really want my team to have their own personal brand. I don't want it to be all Shannon Gillette, Shannon Gillette. So if you go in the App Store and you click on Gillette Group, the home searching app, you pick your agent, and it has their picture and it's their app and it's their top of mind, so they can build their business too. So for team leaders, it's actually, a great recruiting tool too, because it's just one more tool you're offering that probably your competitors don't.
Yeah. I think that's something that top agents and talent look for when they're going someplace is, are they going to have those tools where they can build out their own business and feel supported? So that is awesome to hear. So let's get into a little bit. I'm going to play a couple of your videos that you've made about your app, because you have promoted it, but it's a little bit different, of course, because all of your videos are a little bit different and a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to play a couple, and then we can kind of just talk about your style and what makes your style of video a little bit different than, the typical
We just launched
listing
a
video.
Gillette Group home searching app. And if you are in the market for a new home, you're definitely going to want to download this app. So today we are going to announce our new Gillette Group home searching app. I wanted you to be one of the first to download it, because I really respect your opinion, and I know you also do a lot of business consulting, and you will tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly of this app.
We'll just watch a little bit of this.
We've also worked together. I've had the honor of being your realtor in the past, so we've known each other for years. You've been searching on the Gillette Group app, so you've been using it for about a week now. Tell us about it.
Well, as you know, I am just always kind of on the house market. So I was super excited to set up an account and really try it out. And one of the things that I did was I compared your app and set up all the same parameters that I would have for my family and the other apps that I had already downloaded on my phone. And one of the key things that really stood out to me is that there was actually more current and updated information on your app than the others, which is really important because a lot of buyers they see something on the app and their charts are like, oh my gosh, I love this house. And then it's
So, we won't watch the whole thing, but I love this video and the style of it is different. Like, where did you get the idea to kind of interview somebody and talk to someone who's an expert, but also a client? And, it's not just you kind of like shoving things down shoving things in people's face, but it's more of a conversation.
Well, I've never been salesy. I've never asked anyone, "Hey, are you looking to buy or sell?" I guess I sell more through value, and what better way to explain a tool that we have that can really help our clients than have somebody else talk about it that's used it, that is a client. So I think video is so powerful for so many things, whether you're trying to sell your listing and get more exposure for it, or help support a business by sharing it with followers, or just educating people on how to buy a home. Video is so powerful. And if somebody isn't, if there's an agent not implementing video, now's the time, because, we're in a different market and it's never too late to start, implementing these things in your business.
Yeah. What do you think about Reels? So this is another one that was a reel.
Shock you, but the big home searching apps and websites are in the business of selling a product, and it's not houses, it's you. Give you the app for free so they can sell your information to realtors and lenders. So we created our own app called the Gillette Group. It's available for free to you in the App Store and Google Play. And we are not in the business of selling your information. We are in the business of finding you a home.
So this one was great because it's educating your clients on what the other searches are doing and what the other apps are doing, which I don't even know if the typical person searching for a house even knows that unless they see you kind of telling them what's up.
Yeah. And this, I also like to, when I'm writing my reel scripts, try to, I can't think of a better word, but try to like scare the consumer to go and use our app, because wow.
Yeah.
And literally I had a bunch of people strangers download the app that day when I posted that reel. So it's just so powerful. And I would invest in any of my business unless I didn't see 100% return on it. And, we've just been so happy with the app. And I think it's kind of a hidden gem in the real estate community that a lot of people don't really understand how accessible and available an app is. And even if you can sell one extra home from it, it pays for itself. But it's not all about money. It's also about providing the best experience for your client. And if they're enjoying the home searching features and they feel special, like, man, my agent has their own app and they're getting off all of those other search platforms, like, we don't need anybody else using Zillow. Why are we helping support them,
Oh my goodness. Yes. Amen. How important are reels? And how important is like pre-prepping? I think sometimes it's cool to be in the moment if you're out and about and you see something cool in your town, as opposed to how much you kind of pre-prep for and stay on a schedule with when it comes to your social media.
Man, reels are so powerful. I'm seeing brand new agents in the industry kill it on reels, and it can be really intimidating at first, thinking like, oh, well, first, the number one excuse, I don't like being in front of the camera. But we have to remember who we're creating this content for. It's not for yourself, consumer. So if you have that mind, getting in front of the camera, helping somebody, whether it's, sharing tips on how to buy a home or tips on how to buy your interest rate down, you're helping the consumer. And we're all in sales, so we're talking to people each day. So if you just get in front of the camera and imagine you're talking to a person, that really helps. And video skill set comes with time. My first videos were horrible. It's like everything. It's like going to your first listing presentation. You're probably nervous, or showing your first home and getting the key out of the lockbox. You're probably nervous. You didn't know what to do. But with practice and role playing, it becomes better and easier and more natural. So tip I have for reals, because I think everyone should be doing them, is to batch film in a studio. So I'm in Arizona. I found a little studio where I can my scripts in advance, around 15 seconds less, and I just stand in front of a camera and a teleprompter and I read from the teleprompter, and I can do 20 reels in an hour. And it's less than $500 to do this, which is well worth the investment. And then I have content all throughout the month I can strategically post, so I'm providing value to my followers versus just selling. Hey, just listed, just closed, look at me. Where I'm providing value. And I come up with my scripts by pulling up real estate news articles, reading the headline and bullet points from that, thinking, what type of questions am I asked, or what type of tools am I seeing and wanting to tell my clients about, like interest rate buy downs or what's different in the market? Because the average consumer doesn't really know what's going on in the real estate market right now. They may see the doom and gloom of the headlines, and we're supposed to be that resource. And then every time you post something, even if you're posting something that you think is just so dumb and nobody wants to know, you're planting a seed, you're brainwashing them, almost like, oh, there she is again, realtor, all of that. So it's so powerful, reels and video.
You make it look so easy that I don't think anybody even knows that, like, you write a script for these things, that you batch film, that you go to a studio. Like, I think people just see it, or other agents see it, and they're like, oh, she's just good at it. She just does it. Like, she just hops on and which is obviously, you're good at it, but there is forethought that goes into it. There is planning, there is research. You have to know your market. And you have years of market experience that you're bringing to the table. You're not just winging it every day. So I think that is kind of like lifting the curtain a little bit and letting people know that it takes work.
It's a lot of work. And really what success in real estate comes down to it comes down to consistency and discipline. You have to be disciplined and consistent. And you can succeed in real estate by just picking or two things, whether it's cold calling, hosting open houses, being, great on video. You can build your business so much. You can be a top agent in your market if you're just consistent with it. I am never in the mood to go to the studio and film video. I never have time for it. I'm very busy. I lead a team, but I'm also very much in production. I show homes, I sell homes. I don't have time necessarily to go to the studio every few weeks and film these videos, but I do it because I'm disciplined. And people will tell me, oh, I don't have time to film videos. Well, maybe you need to look at your schedule, and instead of saying I don't have time, say it's not a priority to you, get up earlier, stop watching Netflix, like things in your schedule, remove those and make video one of the main things, because video is the future. The agent with the best personal brand, I think, is going to really excel in this new market shift. So all of these things are really important to embrace.
Yeah. So why should realtors embrace technology in their business, and how can that help them to scale in 2023?
Well, I think we have to forget about the past 2 years, because it's really easy to just feel comfortable and like, oh, maybe it's going to turn around, the market's going to turn around here soon, or you're just not used to having to get back to those basics of the calling and the follow-up and the video, because the past 2 years was just a completely different, crazy market. So I think you just have to today be dedicated to just whatever your goal is, to go all in and not give up, and have a plan in place when you do get busy, that you'll still be consistent with those things. Because I watch it over and over again of agents that are doing really good with their YouTube or Instagram, killing it with content, or, they're doing with cold calling, and then they get busy and life is crazy, and then they just stop everything. And then guess what? They're slow again and they don't have business and all that. So you have to be prepared to be consistent, and you have to be willing to embrace the new technology, and you have to invest in your business. And right now, a big trend in the industry is solo agents are joining teams, because this market is much different. There's a chance 40% of the realtors right now will be leading the business. So if you may think like, hey, I can't afford an app, or I can't afford to pay for videos, maybe look into joining a team that provides that type of value for you, because it will help you sell more homes at the end of the day.
Yeah, power in numbers. And I love, not that I loved, but I realized how dedicated you were to your video when you had a golf cart accident, broke your arm, and you were still like, I'm in the studio filming. And I was like, that is dedication. Like that is what it takes, right? Like,
Yeah, you can't have the excuses. Like, yes, every once in a while there's a true excuse, but you have to put your content filming on your calendar like it was a listing appointment. Are you going to tell that $5 million seller, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have time, to come to your day? Like, think of it like that, because that is how important filming content, embracing technology, all of that is. It's like a $5 million listing appointment, because if you're not putting this as a top priority in your business, there are other agents in your market that will start to do it, and you're going to lose your clients to them.
Yeah. So flip that in your brain. Video on the calendar. It's actually a $5 million listing appointment.
Yeah.
Awesome, Shannon. So we'll open it up to questions in a minute. But is there any little last bit of advice or tough love that you could give to people who are just terrified to cross over that line onto the camera, or terrified to like take that next step?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a lot of advice for a lot of different areas, because I've been doing this, since 2006. So I'd love to hear in the chat, if anybody's open to it, if they are struggling with a certain area, listing, marketing, video, social. Like, I'd love to help, answer those questions, because I just don't know, what people are struggling with. I know I get that a lot, where people are scared of the camera. And it's not easy at first. I can't even watch my first videos. I deleted all of them, and I'm like cringing. I'm talking loud. It's just horrible. So yeah, I'd love to open up the chat if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, I feel like too, everybody put your questions in, put everything in the chat. I feel like too, like the landscape is so overwhelming. Like, should I do TikTok? Should I do Instagram? Should I do Reels? Should I do stories? Like, I feel like that sometimes can be a little overwhelming to people as well. Like, they just don't know where to begin, or they don't know, what to hone in on,
No, I understand that. And two things that were a game changer in my business just the past year is I'm very much the personality where I'm like, I'll just do it myself. I can do it faster. I can just get up earlier and make that thumbnail. So I was literally doing all of these myself. And then you've got to ask yourself, what's your hourly rate? Does it make sense me to be making a YouTube thumbnail, or should I hire a virtual assistant? So a year ago, I made the decision to hire a virtual assistant. I'm very frugal. I don't like spending money, like I said, unless I can see a 100% return on that investment. So I hired a virtual assistant, and she's helped me with a lot of this content stuff, because she's now running my YouTube and tagging my videos and uploading my Google business. My Google business has over 250 posts, which my virtual assistant has done. So that could be one thing. If somebody has the excuse that they just don't know what to do with all content, a virtual assistant can help. And I am a huge fan of having a real estate coach. I was a skeptic of coach for a very long time. I was like, man, I'm just gonna have a coach to tell me to go door knock and cold call, when that's not how I run my business. But I got a coach through the Tom Ferry Network, and that's been a game changer too, because she really holds me accountable and pushes me and sees, these things in my business that I had no idea that were such a huge issue. So I guess that's some of my advice.
But even after all those years and all your success, you still were willing to try the coach and try. I think it's something about that, like, never stop pushing yourself, or never stop.
And never stop learning, right? Because things are changing all the time. So another thing agents can do is, while they're driving, listen to a podcast, a real estate podcast instead of music, because there's so many trends. Just 2 years ago, Reels didn't even exist. I used to upload a 1-minute listing video on my Instagram, and now the days of those are gone. So you've got to be up to date on the trends for sure.
Cool. Yep, guys. So put anything into the Q&A box over the next couple minutes. We'll open everything up to Shannon and anything in Q&A. Okay, cool. We have one that came in. Hi, Liz S. She is from Agent Owned Realty in South Carolina. They also have an app with us. It's also Liz's birthday. Happy birthday, Liz.
Oh.
I had to give her a shout out. She said, do you or should you post a single video on multiple platforms? If so, how do you select which platforms are best for specific content?
I think that's a great question. So I treat Instagram much different than Facebook, right? So, and TikTok, I'm not an expert at all. My videos only get 300 views over there, but I tell people all the time, don't get caught up in how many people are seeing your video. 300 people, imagine that, having 300 people inside your house right now. Like, that's a lot of people seeing your content. And so, you know, Facebook, I don't really do more on my Facebook business page. I'll upload my listing videos there so I can, run ads, but, Instagram's very much vertical video. I ask myself, before I post anything, could this be a reel? So instead of just putting up a graphic of your housing data, maybe being in front of the camera and talking about it would be way more impactful to help explain that to the consumer. Yeah, but right now I have been taking reels and putting them over on TikTok, but they only have 300 views.
Just 300 views. Awesome. So somebody said, how do you learn a new social media site? So I guess meaning like, how do you, is it like learn by doing? Is it,
yeah. What, so I'm wondering what, I guess kind of going back to anything, because, I'm very much like YouTube has taught me so much of just going and watching YouTube videos. Yeah. So anytime I'm trying to learn something, like even just yesterday, I was trying to increase my storage space on my team email and I couldn't figure out how to do it. I'm like, how can I do this? We're running out of space. So I went to YouTube and I just typed in my question and I watched a video on it. And I think that's such a great way to learn anything instead of just waiting for somebody to teach you, just going to YouTube and watching videos on it or listening to podcasts on that, on that topic.
Yeah. I think that's the most widely searched beginning on YouTube is how do I, right?
Yeah. So thinking of that in real estate, how can you put a video on YouTube? How do I buy a house? How do I, relocate to the area? And then, people search that stuff, they find your video and now you've just potentially got a new client.
Yeah. Denise, hi Denise. She said, hi Shannon, I also have an app with HomeStack. How do I get my clients to back away from Zillow or Redfin? And how do I get my sphere of influence to use my app more?
I would say video and that scare tactic, like the video of just educating them on why they shouldn't be using Zillow or Redfin and how they're selling their information and how you have more accurate data. So I think just getting, some video produced on talking about your app. And if you can find a local studio in your area, I'm just such a fan of it because lighting is so important. Having that teleprompter ready is going to save you a lot of time. So investing in some videos to get out there, like putting in your newsletter to your clients and posting on your social media and maybe even boost video. And you'd be surprised of how many people might transfer over. And also in your buyer consults, really explaining the benefit. I think that really helps.
Yeah, I don't even think half the agents would have thought to rent studio space or go into a studio and pre-film videos. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this entire webinar. Cool. So somebody asked, what platforms capture the best leads? What social media platforms? I think you said YouTube as of now has helped you to capture the most leads so far or recently. Yeah.
So can you hear me? Okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So it's funny, I've never had a pop-up that says, hey, download this, or give me your information. My goal in business is to be top of mind. And when somebody is asked, who do you think of when you think of Queen Creek Realtor, you think of Shannon Gillette. So I'm just constantly putting content out there and providing value. So I don't really have a lot of traditional inbound leads where they filled out the information. Instead, I'm getting calls from somebody on YouTube that's like, hey, I'm on your YouTube channel right now watching your video. Will you list our $2 million home? Or people that follow me on Instagram and things like that. So I would say right now, YouTube is just so powerful. It's the second most visited website, I think, in the world. So leaning all into that and just getting that content up, you should be posting 1 or 2 videos a week there and videos of all of your listings. And instead of just sending the videographer over to your listing, be with them and at least a quick intro. So your face is on the video, because then people are going to really learn to know, like, and trust you. You have to get your face in front of the camera as much as possible.
And I like the thinking of like the long game too. It's like, you can't just like expect to post a video and 150 leads are going to come in. Like, you're building this ecosystem through your video, through your app, through your YouTube, that over time is going to pay off, and people are going to get to know you and then reach out to you and call you. And I think that's a big takeaway as well.
Yeah. And I've heard, I think it's much faster these days with Reels, because I've seen agents get so successful in as quickly as 6 months. I've really seen some, especially those younger agents, going all in, but people say it takes 2 years. It makes sense, because it took me about 2 years of being consistent, standing in front of the camera, uploading a video for every home I list, that to start daily calls. So it's not an overnight thing. I don't really think there's such thing as an overnight success in real estate. You have to be disciplined and consistent and be ready, to do that every day for the next year until you might see the results. But you can start today, and then next year, this time, you can be just so excited about all the calls you're getting because you never gave up. And, I'm just so grateful and blessed for where my business is. I never thought in a million years I'd lead one of the top 15 teams in the Phoenix East Valley market. It's such a blessing. And I look back 3 years ago, thinking of myself, just learning video in front of the camera when I didn't want to be there. And I'm so thankful I never gave up, because I have no clue where I'd be today. I definitely wouldn't have the business. I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now if I didn't stay consistent and not give up. So it's so powerful. Video is the future. Social media is the future. You just have to embrace it.
Yeah. And truthfully, 2 years in the scheme of things and in the scheme of your business isn't really that long. It goes by so quickly, and I liked what you said about, where do you want to look back a year from now? You could have this whole year in already, so.
Yeah. Plus your clients are Googling you. I've got a listing presentation on Sunday, and this client called me, and I know, like, I'll ask where they found me, but we have a beautiful website. Our website's won awards. I think your website should be amazing. We use Agent Image for our website, but I asked her, I go, because she seemed very confident she was ready to list her home with us before even ever meeting me. And I was like, oh, have you been to our website? And she goes, no, I haven't been there. I just looked up all of your social media pages. So even if you're not getting those like calls right away, you're getting content out there for when your clients, even if you meet them at the grocery store, for when they Google you, they'll feel confident in their decision to hire you, because you do have an app, you do have a YouTube presence, you do have all this stuff. So you look like an expert, because gone are the days where buyers and sellers are just going to be okay hiring their cousin that just got their license. This is a new market. This requires a skill set, and we have to look like we know what we're doing and that we're embracing the social media channels, because also sellers really want their homes marketed right now. So if you're just throwing it up on MLS, I'm getting the calls right now from sellers that want to fire their agent, not because they're a bad agent, but because all they've done is put the home up in MLS, and they're not doing any marketing. So they're going to be losing those listings here soon.
Wow. That's really cool. So last question, have you ever had a video that went viral? And if so, which one was your most viral video?
Oh man. So, well, I'll say one video that I filmed that I really didn't think would go anywhere or help me sell homes is when I started implementing my family into my YouTube, and again, thinking about what are people asking me over on Instagram, travel, things, and I bring people along on my daily every day on Instagram. and we live in Phoenix. So we have 4 hours we can drive to Rocky Point, Mexico. So we go to Rocky Point, Mexico often. And a lot of people are scared to go to Mexico. So when we're in Mexico, people would send us questions like, oh, do you feel safe there? What do you do? Where do you stay? All of this. I'm like, let's just do a video on traveling to Rocky Point, Mexico with my cell phone. The audio is horrible. The quality is horrible. I put it up on YouTube. It has probably 40,000 organic views. And I've never mentioned that I'm a real estate agent. I never mentioned anything about real estate, but at the end, my call to action is don't forget to follow me over on Instagram. So I've actually gotten a lot of new Instagram followers, and I've sold homes from that Rocky Point, Mexico travel tip video because people me on Instagram, maybe looked on my YouTube channel for other videos. And, that was kind of a surprise. I don't have any crazy videos with like millions of views, but I don't think you need to have that. I think as long as you're consistent and you're getting a few hundred views, and it takes time, even if it's a slow start to getting more people to watch them, it's just so powerful.
Yeah, you never know. Like you just never know.
Yes.
The travel video. Awesome. We have one last question that just snuck through, and then we're probably going to wrap it up. What's the best way to find a videographer to shoot listing videos and team videos like yours? Most of our real estate videographers are just shooting your typical walkthroughs, homes with music, not including their agents or audio.
That's a great question. And I think you'd be surprised that the videography community, I don't know if that's a word, they actually probably want to shoot people, but so many agents are scared of the camera. They probably just think you don't want that. So what I've had to do, because I do have a full-time videographer on staff, so we're using all our videos, but there have been times where he's busy or out of town. I have to call up the local like big real estate photography company, and maybe they don't have an agent intro on, and I've asked them and had all the tools, the microphone, everything, and they're happy to do it. So I would just ask your videographers or call around and see if maybe they'd go on a journey with you to try it out where you're just talking in front of the camera. And one of my tips for listing videos, if you're trying to implement that, I write a script for every single listing video. You can see hundreds of examples on my YouTube channel. And I'm on the video just in the beginning saying like, hey, you won't want to miss this video. We're here in Queen Creek, Arizona, blah, 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 like some type of hook. I used to say, welcome to the home of the day. I'm trying to get away from that just to kind of have that hook to keep people from watching. And then right when it cuts to the house, I'm reading from a piece of paper my script, because you'll save a lot of time that way. A lot of people spend hours in front of the camera doing a ton of retakes. So I guess I would just ask your videographer if they'd be willing to film you.
That's awesome. Give them a little creative direction. They might be wanting to do something like
that. No, I really do think that they want to, and they probably know that will set them apart in the local market. But again, so many people are scared of video. So you just have to get over the fear, because you being on the video, it's going to make it more entertaining. It's going to make it feel more like a commercial and not just like a salesy, like random drone video of a house. And it's going to help your clients get more exposure, because when you are watching a well-produced listing video with a script and it's telling a story of the lifestyle and the nearby walking trails and the top schools, you're selling the home more than if you're just playing music with no talking. And it's so powerful, and your sellers are going to ultimately get more exposure, and you could potentially sell the home from that video. We have sold so many of our listings because of our listing video marketing.
Wow. Yeah, because you're giving it, you're good at selling. So why not put your sales into the video with the VO voiceover?
Yeah, and not that we watch many commercials these days in the days of streaming TV, but I mean, think back to the days when you're sitting on the couch watching TV and the commercials come up. Are they just gonna say it's a commercial for a water bottle? Are they just gonna like show you the water bottle and play some music? No, they wrote a story about it to sell you that water and why their water is the best water out there. And we need to do that with real estate too. You also have to have a call to action. So we actually build a website through realahq.com for all of our listings. And that's a whole nother thing too that can help just step up the game and help you stand out at listing presentations too.
Yes, it's being a storyteller. I love that. I thought the commercial thing was funny because my kids like love commercials because they see them so rarely.
Oh yeah.
That's hysterical. Okay, very last question. One just snuck in. What are your thoughts on using Pinterest for real estate marketing? Talk about that much.
Well, I think there are so many great ways to grow your real estate business, a million different ways. And it really comes down to consistency. But it's, if you ever have a real estate conference, like I go to all the Tom Ferry conferences and I get so many ideas and my notebook is full and I'm like, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do Pinterest. I want to do TikTok. I want to do all this. But you can't. You have to pick like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So I do want to do it all, but I can't. So right now I haven't really leaned into Pinterest, even though I think it could be super powerful as long as it's consistent. I currently am just focusing on Instagram, YouTube, building my personal brand, a little bit of TikTok, and that's kind of where I'm at. But one day, maybe I should have my virtual assistant just start putting the content, just putting on like Google Business over on Pinterest.
Yeah. So even though it seems like Shannon can do it all, she is a human being.
Yes, I do have to have a life too outside of real estate.
Oh yeah, that whole life thing. Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us today, Shannon, and sharing all of your amazing knowledge with us on your social media, your app, tech, and how you do it all. So we hope to have you back again someday soon. And thanks for being with us again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I answer every question I get over on Instagram. So don't forget to follow me at Shannon_Gillette. If you have any other questions, send them over on Instagram. Happy to answer them for you.
Awesome. And I'm sure a lot of people are watching this recording because we did have to reschedule from last week. So be sure to follow Shannon, reach out with any questions if you're watching the recording, and happy apping, everybody. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye.